It's 8:30. Good morning to you. I'm Dennis House. Thanks for watching Face the State. We begin with reaction to Governor Lamont's appearance here last week as he laid out his transportation proposal, which calls for some tolls. Republicans don't like it, and some Democrats aren't exactly embracing it either. With us today, the leader of, well, representing the Senate Republicans today, we have Henri Martin, state senator, and representing the Democrats, we have the deputy president of the Senate, Douglas McCrory. And senators, to you both, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having us.
I'll begin with you, Senator Martin, because you're the Republican. We had the Democrat, the big Democrat on last week, the governor laying out his plan. What do you think about his plan? Because right now, Republicans are saying they are proposing something without any tolls at all.
Well, I think the governor's plan is, it lacks a little bit of listening to what the public are saying, right? I've been on forums throughout the whole state with Representative Laura Devlin, and you know, what started out 82 gantries, 53 gantries, and now it's down to 14 gantries. The public are basically have made their statement, and they do not want tolls. They see it as an extra tax burden.
So the Republican plan calls for no tolls at all?
Absolutely.
How do you pay for it?
We shared that today in our press conference, and our plan shows no tolls and no tax increases. And through the leveraging of cash that we've come up with in our plan, we're able to utilize the federal money.
Senator, do you support the governor's plan for 14 tolling stations?
Well, I'll tell you this, it's much better than it was proposed last year. I think his plan is much more thought out. And I think he did listen to the constituents in Connecticut who didn't want that many tolls. So I thought he did a good job of listening. I like what I'm hearing. I think it needs some tweaking now. But the idea of being able to access federal funds and also had a steady stream of income that's coming in to pay back those funds is a great idea for the state of Connecticut. We just got to find a way to finance it, and I think that this might be an avenue if we can tweak it a little bit.
How would you tweak it?
Well, one of the things I might do is make sure we have some discounts for individuals that live in the state of Connecticut. I think that's very important. I think that we also have to make sure and guarantee that individuals who are going to do this work, because this is an economic game changer, live in Connecticut. The companies that's going to do all this work, our companies that are Connecticut, and also make sure that individuals and organizations and people who are from marginalized communities who haven't had an opportunity at economic development are part of this plan.
Senator Martin, you say that you want to leverage money to help pay for this. What are you talking about exactly, specifically?
Well, our plan looks to our rainy day fund, which currently it's at 2.5 this year. Next year, it's projected to increase to $2.7 billion. We take $1.5 billion of that, and you think about it this way, we're earning little interest money on that. We're taking that money, $1.5 billion, and we pay down on unfunded liabilities that we currently have. By doing that, it's like paying off a high interest rate credit card. So we take something that we're earning low interest loans, paying off something that has high interest loans. There's a savings there, using that savings to supplement our infrastructure costs.
Senator McCrory, what's wrong with that program?
Well, you think about it. So basically what you're saying is we're taking our savings, our rainy day, which is money that's there for a rainy day. And you're assuming that there's not going to be a problem, a rainy day problem within the next 5 to 10 years. So you're taking money that you've set aside, paying off basically your credit card, but then again, you're going to continue to use your credit card to fund the projects that's needed. I don't think it makes financial sense like that.
So,
that's really
if you look at our plan, you'll see that even though we do bring down the $2.7 billion down to $1.2 billion, we over a 4-year period we replenish and we pay back that whole amount of money.
But the problem with that, you're assuming that there's not going to be a rainy day. You're assuming that financially we're going to be stable for the next 10 years. That's not realistic. Connecticut has ups and downs. 3 years ago, we were facing a huge deficit. Now that we've been able to get our house in order financially, we have money in place in our rainy day fund. Why take that money? Why not utilize resources from the federal government, utilize resources from people that use transportation, because this is really a user fee. You don't get taxed, you don't get hurt unless you use the tolls. So therefore, I think that's a better way of doing it. Instead of using the money that we already saved, why don't we find ways, mechanisms in place, continue to spend the $750 million that we're spending spending already. Basically, we just need to find a way to add another $300 million to what we're spending already to pay for all the things that need to get done. And I believe the best way of doing that is a user fee.
So our plan actually affects the special transportation bonding, the STO bonding. We don't use STO bonding at all. The governor's plan does, and adds an extra burden to the taxpayers of the state of Connecticut. You look, even though they're calling it a user fee, it's still a tax burden. The bottom line is, and that's how people are perceiving this.
I want to talk about the opposition to tolls out there, and there are many people out there. The groups are out there campaigning against tolls. Do you think that the whole process was tainted last year with the introduction of 60 tolls,
yes,
or 80 tolls, or whatever they were?
Absolutely. I mean, that was dead on arrival. I mean, no one wanted to say, I guess it was said, but even inside baseball, that was dead on arrival. There's no way you're going to put 60 tolls on the roads in the state of Connecticut. But we have to be realistic. We're the only state on the entire eastern coast that do not have tolls. Why is that? How come every other state can do these things, utilize federal money to help their roads and bridges, and we don't? We have to get out of the mindset of being the land of steady habits. We have to change the way we do things, and I think this plan, with some minor tweaks, is a great plan for the state of Connecticut. At the end of the day, if you're driving a car, you're not paying more than $1. $1 a day. And most of the funding from this is coming from outside sources, and also from large trucks that are using and destroying our roads every single day that they're on them. So we have to find a way to recap some of that money that is being spent by others, and make sure our roads and bridges are paid for from people that are using our roads and bridges from outside the state.
Senator Martin, to touch on what Senator McCrory just said, his point was that, people in Connecticut do pay tolls to other states when they go through them. Why not our state?
So why should we spend $60 or $6 of our money in order to capture $4? I don't get that. Regarding the trucking industry does pay for the use of our bridge, our roads, or our infrastructure. They pay over $30 million a year to the state of Connecticut, but when it's all said and done. So it's not. It is a plan that taxpayers do not want to see.
There's some talk that perhaps legalizing marijuana could help finance some transportation products. What do you think about that, Senator McCrory?
That you're mixing apples and oranges. I absolutely
Well, in terms of a revenue source, creating new revenue sources.
Me personally, I do not think that this is totally two separate conversations. I don't think that taxing people like you as cannabis is a way to pay for roads. I absolutely disagree with that. As far as I'm concerned, I would not support anything like that, any mechanism like that to tax people for the use of cannabis to pay for our roads and bridges. For me, that's dead on arrival.
Senator Martin?
Oh, I think the first obstacle will be if we're going to leverage funding, a designated source of funding, and you're going to say we're going to use marijuana or even the casino, particularly in marijuana. I think the federal government are going to have a problem with that.
Judging by the conversation here, it's going to be a fiery legislative session next year. Gentlemen, thank you.